I would like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land on which this episode is being recorded and pay my respects to elders past, present and emerging. I extend that respect to Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples today. Welcome to Can I Get a Refill, the podcast that offers a nurturing and inspirational space for honest and open discussions around career aspirations, wealth creation, motherhood, healthy relationships with others and the self, as well as an emphasis on physical, mental, and spiritual well-being. Join us for light-hearted, authentic chats with like-minded women, as well as more in-depth discussions with industry professionals to support your ambitions and heal old wounds, as we empower you to regularly fill up your own cup. I'm your host, Steph Bruno-Newton, singer, writer, recovering people pleaser, first-time podcast host, and soon-to-be first-time mum. Thank you for pressing play today, and now let's get into the episode. Hello and welcome to the Can I Get a Refill podcast. I'm your host, Steph Bruno-Newton, and today I'm doing something I swore I'd never do, which is recording a solo episode. As much as I thrive off my alone time, I much prefer recording conversational style episodes with at least one other person. Firstly, because I bounce off the energy of the other person, but also because I find talking to equipment rather than a face super awkward. But inspiration just struck. I have some thoughts I wanted to share with you, so I thought I'd jump on the mic and record a quick and punchy episode for you. Today, I'll be talking about romanticising your winter routine to avoid the seasonal blues. It's the start of winter here in Australia. It's a dark and rainy day outside, and I'm sitting here with my orange and cinnamon tea, trying to create a super cozy atmosphere and embrace the day as it is. Now, we're a summer nation here in Australia. We pride ourselves on our beautiful beaches and our coastal walks, so winter can feel like you're getting a bit ripped off. I live in the beachside Sydney suburb of Cronulla, and I can tell you that this place shuts down in winter. It's as soon as it's sundown, everyone's indoors, ordering Uber Eats, binge watching Netflix. We seem to ease off going out to restaurants and bars. And the only people in the water seem to be the diehard surfers who surf 365 days a year. And then the only people out at pubs and clubs are the drunk 25-year-olds looking to score. So go get them, kids. Honestly, it doesn't even get that cold here compared to the UK or Canada. We have to spend a good portion of your day shoveling snow out of your driveway or scraping ice off your windscreen just to get to work. I feel like I'd be calling in sick every second day if that was my life. But we're summer babies over here and we tend to head indoors through winter. As much as I love when a rainy day first hits after a really hot summer and then you can embrace the coziness of it and just relax. But after 3 or 4 days of nonstop rain, I do feel the blues creep in a bit and I find that my motivation goes out the window. For me, the worst is those first few seconds of ripping your clothes off in a freezing cold bathroom before jumping into a steaming hot shower that I then never want to get out of. So what I want to talk about today is embracing the season for what it is and leaning into it rather than fighting it or complaining about what it's not. I remember hearing Louise Hay say once in her best-selling book, You Can Heal Your Life, and if you know me, you've probably heard me reference that book at least 27 times, that there is no such thing as bad weather, just bad attire. If you throw on your gumboots and raincoat, you can have a lot of rainy day fun, as opposed to not being prepared and spending a day with wrinkly toes and soggy socks. Life is what we choose to make it, and a lot of it probably comes down to mindset and choosing to see the glass half full rather than half empty. In a recent blog, I referenced this vlogger I watch. She's called Shayla Quinn. I found her because she moved to NYC, and I'm always watching any NYC-related content. She lives the life I wish I lived when I was in my 20s. She's a full-time content creator, a yoga instructor, and she spends her days with a cute little dog in her high-rise Brooklyn apartment overlooking the city. It's super pretty. It's all very aesthetically pleasing, and she obviously has good taste because she's now dating an Aussie guy. But she grew up in Southern California where it's just nice weather all year round, and she was so excited when she moved to NYC for the change of seasons. She kept saying how appreciative she was for it because now she gets to experience 4 very different climates in the year, and she gets to wear all the cute jumpers, coats, and hats she always wanted to wear. I find in Sydney the only time I can wear my beautiful winter coats and hats is if I go to New York or go to Melbourne, because it doesn't quite get cold enough for that here. There are days in winter when she has to hold hand warmers like in her pockets when she's walking to the subway, and taking her dogs out for walks in the snow is like a logistical nightmare. And it can be quite off-putting when it's so cold, but it makes her so grateful for the warm days. So I love this perspective. I truly feel exactly the same way. I think change is really as good as a holiday, and no matter how amazing something is, if it's the same every single day, you're going to get bored of it. Just like on the Barbie movie, she left behind her very pink, picture-perfect existence to go out into the real world with muted tones, Birkenstocks, and invasive pap smears. But hey, each day was something new. I follow a lot of these pages on Insta that talk about wholesome and good news stories. I read a great one the other day where this guy was sitting at the beach just looking out at the beautiful water like it was the same old scene he sees most days. And a grown woman came running up with childlike excitement, exclaiming, "It's the ocean, the ocean. Isn't it beautiful? Isn't it magical?" She then apologized and says that she's from Colorado and she's never seen a proper beach before. He said from that day on, he chose to look at that beach like it was a miracle he was seeing for the first time. That story just gave me absolute goosebumps. It grounds you in the present moment. Appreciation of the simple things is where true contentment lies. I really love that, and I try to apply that in my life when I feel myself getting a bit pissy. So that's why I'm a big believer in gratitude lists. It kind of brings you back to what you already have and being grateful for that rather than just focusing on what you want to achieve. So in Australia, we only have 3 mildly cold months of winter. We really have nothing to complain about. So what we can do is embrace it, lean into it, and romanticize all the little things we can. Which leads me to something you may have heard of in recent years, as the word itself was added to the Oxford English Dictionary in 2017, I believe. It's called Hygge. It's spelled Hygge. It's a Danish concept that focuses on the small joys of life, particularly the cozy comfort of winter. It's an opportunity to unwind and take things slowly. The word itself is associated with relaxation, indulgence, and gratitude. Now, Denmark often ranks at the top of the list of happiest countries in the world, and I think that this has less to do with the climate and more to do with the lifestyle of gratitude, living simply, and living in the present moment, which includes a sense of community and connection, because a lot of the Hygge things talk about, bringing family and friends over to embrace the winter. Helen Russell, a British journalist who wrote The Year of Living Danishly, defines the term of Hygge as taking pleasure in the presence of gentle, soothing things like a freshly brewed cup of coffee and cashmere socks. So some of the ways you can embrace this is by pulling out all of your favourite cozy jumpers and socks. You have a hot shower as soon as you get home, use a delicious smelling body wash, play some beautiful chill out music while you're in there, then jump out and throw on those beautiful cozy winter woolies. Have your heater on. I mean, if you have a fireplace, go for it, but I don't know anyone with that. Having a cozy warm drink in the evening is a great idea, but if you're 33 weeks pregnant like me, go easy on the liquids before bed. I am seriously up every hour. You can make nice herbal teas, warm milk or almond milk with beautiful winter spices like nutmeg and cinnamon, or make a hot chocolate with marshmallows. Or lots of wellness companies now are creating delicious nighttime drinks to sort of elevate your night routine. And they might contain magnesium or Ayurvedic herbs to help you unwind at night. I've had Naked Harvest's moon milk before, and I'm a big fan. They have all beautiful flavours like normal hot chocolate, but they have like a white chocolate and raspberry one that tastes like the Subway cookie, and Rocky Road. It's so good. Making your home beautiful is great for any season, but especially in winter when you're home more. And definitely if you work from home a lot, you want the space to feel elevated. During the day, I like to burn incense, especially in the morning when I do my meditations. Throughout the day and in the evening, I like to use my oil burner. And I have all these oils I got at Christmas, which are actually cozy winter smells. One's called pudding, and it smells like this beautiful winter pudding. One smells like a forest. They're delicious and they create a real sense of calm. I used to have a pumpkin pie scented candle from the US too that I loved burning this time of year, but sometimes it made me hungry because it smelled like pie. Decorate your couch or armchairs with beautiful throw rugs that make you want to curl up in them with a good book. And have a stack of great reads next to your chair. So you don't have to be in the shops all the time buying new books and spending lots of money. My bestie and I do a swap with each other, but only the really good reads that we recommend, which is good because, we have similar taste. The girls at work have created a little book club, and everyone brought in a few of their fave books and then stack it on the shelf, and then you just take what you want. And God bless those neighbours who have those little book swap libraries in their front yard where you take a book and leave a book. I love those. You never have to spend a lot of money to embrace new seasons. Half the fun is finding ways to recycle and upcycle what you already have. It's better for your bank account and for the environment. So try thinking of some ideas like that. You could have some beautiful flowers or native plants in your home to brighten your day. You can collect them on your walks if you want, but this actually does remind me of that vlogger I was just talking about, Shayla Quinn. Her and her bestie Brooke were out for breakfast or coffee or something, and it was a really cold winter day. And Brooke was saying she'd just come from Trader Joe's where she spent $50 on a bouquet of flowers for herself. And the guy at the checkout said, "Oh, what's the occasion?" And she said, "Oh, seasonal depression." I've totally done that. I mean, I try to spend on necessities, but there's nothing wrong with splurging a little bit on yourself to brighten your day. Oh, another way to elevate the home vibes, is to pop those YouTube ambiance videos on. You can put them on your phone or your TV. There's some really great like jazz music, cozy coffee shop videos. They play for hours, so you don't have to change them. But my personal favourites, there's Harry Potter and Narnia ambiance videos. The music is so beautiful, and I just leave them on while I'm working, and they really help me concentrate as well. Eating and cooking seasonally is a great tip. It can be cheaper at the checkout and the food will be fresher because it's usually locally sourced and not shipped in from overseas. I'm loving making lots of soups and stews full of seasonal veggies at the moment, and I'm a big fan of pumpkin. I love baking a big tray of pumpkin for meal prep throughout the week, or I have a really great vegan pumpkin pie recipe for dessert. If you scroll through my Insta page, the Can I Get a Refill podcast Insta page, I've got a video and recipe of that there. Baking is another way to elevate the ambiance of your home because of the beautiful smells. You know how real estate agents will often say bake muffins or cookies if you've got people coming over for an inspection, because the smell will make their home smell quite homely, and then it helps people to picture their life there. Baking is also a great way to keep your hands busy and keep you grounded in the present moment by getting you out of your head and into your body. I'm not a huge fan of cooking dinners. Alan likes to do that a lot more, but I've always loved baking. It's always been a pleasure pastime ever since I was a kid. And there's another vlogger I watch. I think she's in Texas, but she used to be in New York, Michelle Reed, and I think she gets a bit of the blues as well. She's a Cancerian like myself, so I get it. And she started baking even before COVID, I think, baking bread, and she does like where she shows you how to make a starter, and she does sourdough loaves, but she does it not just to eat the bread, but because it helps keep her hands busy and out of her head, so you're not overthinking. I think a lot of these girls do work on their own and don't have colleagues to bounce off, so it's a good way to find ways to stay in the present moment and not overthink. Something else to focus on in winter is respecting your sleep. You got to give the body what it needs. Try switching off your devices an hour before bed. I know we all hear it a million times, but really be vigilant about it. At least popping them on flight mode and do a little reading before bed. I recently had this baby moon down to Gerringong, and even though I thought I had pretty good balance in my life, being down there in a beautiful Airbnb, surrounded by luscious grass and cows, zero phone reception or internet in the house, I realised how little time like this I have at home. I'm always, it's the phone's on, the laptop's on, the TV's on, or I'm doing chores. I'm not really submitting into the present moment, even though I thought I was. It wasn't until I had that little time away that I realised I don't do that enough. Alan and I felt so present with each other and so rested. We were playing beautiful music while he barbecued steak and I made salad. We had little dance parties in the living room. He had delicious Shiraz. I had some alcohol-free crap. But we played board games and card games, which I used to do all the time. I cannot remember the last time I've done that since before this trip. We came back so rested and so connected after only 3 days. It was exactly what I needed, and it made me realise that we need to instill this at least 2 hours of no screen time per week to live in the moment. So I started doing that on the weekends. And if you honestly feel like winter is getting to you this year, if it's within your budget, book a little long weekend in a beautiful Airbnb. My birthday is at the end of June, and I usually love a long weekend in the Blue Mountains for my birthday, like a little getaway. Anything in nature with a cozy stay just feels good to me. It recharges my batteries. I feel like a lot of this comes down to cyclical living too. In the animal world, bears will hibernate all winter, and we're still pushing through with our same summer routine. Only now you're waking up in the dark on a freezing morning, begrudgingly heading to the gym to do a high intensity workout when your body and your, circadian rhythms might be screaming out for you to take it easy, take it slower. But we're pushing through because that's the hustle culture we've grown up with, whereas some European countries would think that's madness. Don't be afraid to mix up the routine. If your schedule can allow for it, sleep in 1 hour later so your body doesn't feel like it's waking up in the middle of the night when it's so dark. If high-intensity workouts aren't feeling good to you at that time, try something different. Try a reformer Pilates class or yoga. As long as you're moving your body every day, you're doing it a favour. You don't have to have the same workout routine as a bodybuilder who doesn't have a 9-to-5 job. So just focus on what feels good. Maybe a nice long walk is what feels good. I personally don't mind going for long walks even in the rain, as long as I have my big Bunnings umbrella. And I usually just pop like a nice podcast on or something. Which brings me to my next point. If it has been raining a lot and you haven't seen the sun in a little while, I do honestly feel a little depression creeping in. So whenever there is a sunny day, I make a point of spending a good chunk of time outside. Being so pregnant at the moment, long walks are becoming a little more difficult. But I'm still getting my 10,000 steps in every day because I'll head out for every hour or two in between work and walk once or twice around the block. So by the end of the day, I've done the same amount of steps as I would just doing one long walk. But when I do, I stop. Whenever I see the sun, I stop, I look up, I close my eyes and I just let the sun feed me. And I can honestly feel my mood boosting straight after it. It's nature's medicine, but wear your SPF. I have my go-to skincare Nifty 50 on right now. So this winter, give some of these a try. Throw in some of your own. I always wanted to try making mulled wine and doing some sort of winter solstice ritual. I might try that next year when I'm not heavily pregnant. At the end of the day, when you lay your head on a pillow in a cozy bed in a warm home, be so grateful for what you have and spare a thought to all those Aussies doing it tough on the streets, trying to make a bed on cold cement out in the elements. If you have it in your heart and your bank account, try making a contribution to all the wonderful charities that can help this time of year. My personal favourite is the Wayside Chapel. They do amazing work in the King's Cross community. I'll link them in the show notes, actually. They have a winter appeal every year. You can donate on their website. Get in before June 30 and you can claim your tax-free contribution and your tax return. Or look in your home if you don't have the finances. Look in your home if you've got beanies or jumpers or blankets that you really want to get rid of, and all help is welcome. You can drop it off there. As for something I'll be doing this week to fill up my cup, I'll be moving my morning workouts to lunchtime to give myself an extra hour's sleep each day. I'm especially needing it towards the end of my pregnancy and just in winter in general. I feel like I need that extra sleep. And we listen to our bodies when they demand what they need. That's it for today, guys. Thanks so much for spending time with me. I hope I've given you some ideas to incorporate into your winter routine this year, and feel free to reach out to me on socials to let me know some of your favourites, some of your favourite ways to romanticize and elevate the season. And as always, I hope you take the time to fill up your cup this week. There is no resource more valuable than time, and I thank you for spending your time with us today. Your voice is so important to us, and we would love to hear which topics you would like discussed in future episodes. Please reach out via Instagram at Can I Get a Refill podcast or in our private Facebook group to let us know. If you enjoyed this or previous episodes, we would be so grateful if you could please subscribe, rate and review to help our voices continue to be heard. Catch you in the next episode.